group we obtained. So the second group can be written as follows. It's mu. It's mu. So over rho L times U times rho. Okay, and this is what. Do you know this dimensionless group? This group is what, you remember? If you take the inverse of this group, it will give you what? This is 1 over the Reynolds number. What is the definition of Reynolds number? Rho U times length over mu. Okay? Reynolds number is rho times U times characteristic length over mu. So here we obtained the opposite of the Reynolds number. So here we found our two groups in this problem. They are 1 over Reynolds and F over, as we have seen before. So if you look here, these are your two groups. So you can write your system as follow. So the first group is F over rho U square L square. This is my first group. I should express it function of my second group, which is, you can take mu over rho UL or rho UL over mu, it's the same. Okay, so if you want, what does this mean? This means that if I'm doing an experiment, instead of varying several variables at the same time, I can just vary two parameters, two groups. And I will just work in variation of two parameters, the parameter of group 1 and the parameter of group 2. In this way, I reduce a lot the number of experiments, and I can come up with conclusions that can be extended to real cases. Okay? Question on this problem?
بس دكتور سؤال بالأول.
Yes.
نحن مين قالنا إنه لازم ناخد ال يو مع رو بعدين نجربها مرة مع اف مرة مع ميو، إنه ليه مش مثلا ال مع يو مع ميو بنجربها مع رو مع ال؟
فينا ما قلت لكم إنه فينا. فيكم
أوكي، يعني
تتذكروا شو عملنا أنا وياكم؟ جربنا ناخد 3 variables تانيين وطلعوا independent. مش جربنا ناخد ميو رو وميو وثبتنا إنهم independent.
اوكي، يعني مثل ترايل اند ايرور، بنشوف شو بيزبط مع شو كأنه.
صح. هلا في قصص دغري ببين انه رح تزبط. يعني انا اعطيتكم تكنيك تدغري تعرفوا انه they are independent. هلا مثلا بيورو وميو منا كثير واضحه، لانه M موجوده in two places, T موجوده in two places, و L موجوده everywhere. So to make sure انه they are independent, I should do اذا بدكم I should do analysis. وعملنا analysis وبين انه ما فيني الاقي A B C. هلا كمان مع الخبره بتصيروا تعرفوا. You know why؟ لانه اذا بتعرفوا some dimensionless numbers بيمشي الحال. يعني انتم رينولد لازم تعرفوه مثلا. You know that Reynolds هو rho times velocity times length over mu، صح؟ يعني دغري فيكم تقولوا مثلا اذا باخذ حيلا 3 لحال ما بيقدروا يعملوا جروب. يعني اذا باخذ يو ال مع ميو لحال ما فيهم يعملوا جروب because they need rho to form a group. او I can take مثلا rho يو ال مع بعض كمان اكيد ما بيعملوا جروب. or I can take mu مع يورو كمان ما بيعملوا جروب. يعني if you just know some dimensionless group دغري فيكم تستنتجوا انه what are 3 variables that cannot form a group. اوكي، يعني اذا بس تعرفوا رينولدز دغري فيكم تقولوا I can choose or rho with u with L or u with L with mu or mu with L and rho or mu with u and rho. And you have infinity, you have several possibilities. Okay, but whatever you do,
to let them in.
At the end you will obtain the same groups. يعني whatever, if you choose u rho وميو او ال ورو، اخر شيء الجروبس هن ذاتهم at the end.
دكتور
Yes.
في كذا حدا عم بده يفوت على الميتينج، تعملوا له ادمت.
يلا okay, so let us try to do together the second number, which is in the same procedure, but we will see that j will be smaller than 3. We'll see how. Okay, so here in this هحط لكم السوليوشن. In the solution you have all steps in details explained, okay, as we did together. Now the second problem, assume that the tip deflection of a beam is function of the load P, the beam length, the area moment of inertia, the material modulus of elasticity, and so the total relation is as follows. Delta is function of P, L, I, and E. Okay? Now, rewrite this function in dimensionless form and comment on its complexity in order to find G. Okay. So first here, as usual, the first step, I count my variable. Okay? I have that, I have delta, P, L, I, and E. So I have 5 variables. Okay, I have 5 variables. So n first is equal to 5. This is the first step. Second step, I put my variables in a table and I list their dimensions. So first, delta is a deflection. So the unit of deflection is meter. So the dimension of delta is L. Second, P is a load. It's a force F. So the unit of a force is ml t minus 2. If I forgot it, I do F equals ma. It will give me ml t minus 2. The length L, it's L, of course. The moment of inertia, تذكروا الاريا moment of inertia مثلا. If you remember for a rectangle مثلا, what is I? VH cube. So directly you can remember that the unit of I is meter to the power 4. So it's L4. Okay? Now, for the modulus of elasticity. For the modulus of elasticity, if you don't, هلا يمكن أكيد you don't know directly the unit. Think about the relation. أكيد أخذين materials أنتم. From materials, you know that sigma, if you remember, sigma is equal to the modulus of elasticity times epsilon. I don't know if you remember it, but I know I will repeat it for you now. Sigma is like stress. Okay, it's Newton. It's a Newton per meter square. Okay, it's a stress. And E, I want to find the dimension of E. Epsilon is delta L over L by definition. Delta L over L. So it's length over length. Yani no unit. No unit for epsilon. Okay. So what can I say? I can say that the unit of E.
Doctor, it's very hard. I'm not understanding.
Who is talking? Who is saying I'm not understanding?
Lazy kid.
What are you? What is your problem? In which part?
All of it.
All of it? You started with us from the beginning of the session with problem 1?
No.
So of course you will not understand if you didn't start from beginning.
Okay,
Look,
then you have to repeat.
What's your name? Can you tell me your name? Okay. So let us continue. I can repeat for you. We can do office hours. So if you need more explanation, I can do office hours for you, but be polite, please. Okay, it's not a way to talk. So you have epsilon times E times
بس تعملي هيدا البروبلم summary من الأول please بس هيك in general.
Yes, I will do a summary. Yes. I am repeating the method now. Yani in problem 1, we did the method. We are repeating the same method now. The first step, you count the variables involved in your problem. Okay? You have 5 variables involved here. You have delta, P, L, I, and E. So the first step, you count your variables. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you set n equal to 5. N represents the number of variables involved in your problem. This is the first step. The second step is to put the dimensions of each variable. So as you can see here, step 2, you put your variables in a table. and you put the dimension for each variable. Okay, so to start with, you have delta is length, you replace, so the dimension is L, P is a force, the dimension is MLT minus 2, L is a length, the dimension is L. Now for any variable that you don't remember the dimension, try to find a formula including the variable to find its dimension again. Okay, so for inertia, for example, we have seen inertia, area moment inertia together in chapter 2. For a rectangle, for example, it's BH cubed, and B is the length and H is length. So the unit of I will be L to the power 4. Okay, now for the modulus of elasticity E, if you have taken a material course, you know that E can be found from this relation: sigma equal E times epsilon. Okay, and epsilon is without unit because epsilon is defined by delta L over L. Okay, so it's length over length, so it will give you a unit of 1. Okay, so in total, from this relation, you can deduce that what is the unit of E? The unit of E is the same unit of sigma, which is Newton per meter square. Okay, now Newton is force, and the unit of force is MLT minus 2. So if you divide MLT minus 2 by meter square, you get L minus 1 T minus 2. So the second step, as we did, is to determine the dimensions of all variables we have. Okay, and then now the third step is to look at the independent dimension we have. What are the dimensions that we have here? We have 3 dimensions involved in this problem. You have L, you have M, and you have T. Okay, so we have 3 dimensions involved. So the number of dimensions involved, number of dimensions is 3, okay, which are M, L, and T. So M, L, and
دكتور هي دايما حتساقب 3 ما هيك؟
لا، ما هلا حنشوف انه مش دائما حتساقب 3. Sometimes you have temperature also. حنعمل problem في temperature. So if you have in addition temperature in your dimensions بصيروا 4 بدل 3. Okay?
اوكي دكتور.
Okay. So the number of dimension is 3, M, L, and T. Now, what we can say until now that J, which is the number of independent variables, so J represents the number of independent variables, will be smaller or equal, to 3. But how we can make sure if it is smaller or not? Okay, we can't do trial and error. We can try to find 3 variables that cannot form a group here, but we will not find. Okay, let us try, for example, and after I will tell you how you can directly know that you cannot. Look, you have try to take, for example, M, L, and I. Why they cannot? They are not independent, because you can find a group between L and I. If you take L and I alone, they form a group together because you only have L and L here. Okay, so these 2 of course form a group. What is the group between L and I? It's I times L minus 4. Okay, because what is the unit of I? It's L to the power 4. So if you take this group I L4 minus 4, it's a without dimension. So this is I over L4. So I found a group between these 3. So it will not work. Let us try another combination. If I choose, for example, if I choose delta P and L, also it will not work because delta and L form together a group. So if I take delta over L, this is a group. So they are not independent, these 3. Whatever combination you try, if you try any combination of 3 variables, you will not be able to say that they are independent, because you will always find a group if you use 3 variables. Now, why? How you can know this without trying a lot? If you try to look at your dimensions, okay? Now we said that in general we say that if we have 3 dimensions, then probably J can be equal to 3. But here, why it's smaller than 3? Because look, the dimensions, as we said, are LMT. But if you look how they are appearing, you have L, but M is always with T minus 2 together. So here, if you look at M, it's present here in P and in E, and T minus 2 is present in P and in E, but they are repeated in the same way. So here you have MT minus 2, and here you have MT minus 2. Because they are repeated in the same way, if you want, you cannot say that it's independent dimensions. So it's like, if you want, instead of having M alone, T alone, they are always appearing in one form, which is MT minus 2. This is why here we will not find 3 variables that cannot form a group. If we choose any 3 variables, we can find 2 of them forming a group. So therefore, we can say that in this problem, I cannot find 3 variables that cannot form a group, because what I have in this problem, like L and MT minus 2. I don't have L, M, and T separate, because MT minus 2 is repeated in the same way. So from this observation, because MT minus 2 is repeated in the same way, I can say that I cannot find 3 variables that are completely independent. Always I will find 2 of them which form a group together. So from here I deduce that G is different than 3 in this problem. It's smaller than 3. So the next step, I try to find if I can find G equal to. Can I find 2 variables that do not form a group? Of course, because look, if you take, for example, P and L, of course P and L will not form a group, because P contain M and T, while L doesn't contain M and T. So now I can take or P and L together, or I can take, let me just 1 second. You can take E and I together, for example, but at least you should have P or E, or P or E. Yani, if you don't choose P or E, it will not work, because if you take L with I, it will not work, because they can't form a group. If you take L with delta, also it cannot work, because when you take L with delta, only you have L, or when you take L with I, only you have L. So of course they will form a group. To have 2 variables that will not form a group, or you choose P with L, or you choose P with delta, or you choose P with I. And if you don't want to use P, you can choose E. And you can choose E with I, or E with L, or E with delta. Okay? So now it's up to you. You can choose any 2 variables you want, but in a way that they don't form a group. Okay? So, and then once you choose these 2, then you will combine them with the other remaining variables. And here, how many groups we will have? The number of groups will be N minus J equals to 3. Okay? Because here it's 5 minus 2. So here I can form 3 groups, not 2, 3. Okay? Now, how to find the 3 groups? First, I choose any 2 variables that will not form a group. Let us see, for example, here, if you want, what they choose. They selected, for example, here L and E. Okay? So if we select L and E, if you want, because you have the solution here for L and E, I will choose for you other 2 variables. Okay? So for example, let us choose delta and P, for example. Okay? Let's say if you want, in general, because here my problem is delta is the variable that I want to find function of the others. In general, I will not use it one of the independent variables. Okay, because my purpose is to express the deflection function of the other variables. So don't take it as one of the independent variables. Try to take something else. So I can take, for example, P and L. Okay. Let us say I choose P and L as the independent variables. So first, the first group will be with delta by combining them with delta. Okay. Here, for example, you can directly determine the group by just looking at the variables. No need to put A, B, C because it's very simple. Because look, delta is L and L is L. So what will be the group between delta P and L? What will be the group you will find? Who can tell me directly?
Doctor, can you just repeat the question, please?
Okay. What I am telling you in general, how to find the group. You put delta to the power, delta to the power 1 times P to the power A times L to the power B equals to M to the power 0 times L to the power 0 times T to the power 0. But here, why no need to do this? There is a much simpler way here. Look, my delta هي L and L is L. So what will be the group, of course? Delta over L. Because if you do L over L, what will be the unit? 1. Okay, so you can do this method and find A and B, but no need to do this because the group is clear. It's delta over L. Okay, if you didn't pay attention, you can do the methods. Let us do it here, and then you will find the group is delta over L. So I replace delta by its dimension, it's L. I replace P by M to the power A and L to the power A and T to the power minus 2A equals to times L to the power B times L to the power B equals to M0, L0, T0. Okay, now if you do comparison of your terms, okay, you have for L, what is the unit here for L? If I take for L, I have plus 1 plus A plus B, and for M, I have only A to the power A, and for T I have only minus 2A. Okay, equals to, from the other side, to M0, L0, T0. If you do the comparison, the coefficient of M should be 0. So what here we have A. From this side, the coefficient of M is 0, and from this side, it is 0. So you can say that A is should be equal to 0. And also, if you do it for T, you will get the same result, that the coefficient of T is minus 2A, and here it is 0. So minus 2A should be 0. So you get the same result, that A is 0. And this is, you can predict this. Why you can predict this? Because delta does not involve M and T, while P involves M and T. So P will not be in the group of delta, okay? Because M and T are only present in P and not present in delta and L. So P will not enter in the group. This is why I told you here, you could directly expect that P will not be included. And you should form a group between delta and L, which will be delta over L, since both have the same dimension, which is L. Okay, so if you continue, you will find this result, because what is the coefficient of L here? The coefficient of L is 1 plus A, and we found that A is 0, plus B equals to, from the other side, the coefficient of L is 0, so we put it equal to 0. So what can we deduce? B is equal to minus 1. Okay, so as expected, what is our group? Delta times L to the power minus 1 is my group. This is group number 1, pi 1. So pi 1 is delta over L, as expected, okay? So here, because it's a very simple group, no need to do the calculation. You can directly say, since delta and L have the same dimension, which is L, then they will form the group delta over L direct. Okay, so this is group 1. Now, to find the second and third group, now we said that our independent variables are P and L. So now we will form a group between P, L, and I. Now, who will tell me in a fast way what will be the group now between I, L, and P?
PL over I.
Okay, why you included P? If you want to include P, you should have, if you look at L and I both does not include M and T. Okay, because L and I both does not include M and T, you can conclude that P will not figure in their group, because P only contains M and T. So M and T cannot be cancelled if I combine them with L and I. So P will not enter the group. Okay, so the group will only contain L and I. And because I is L to the power 4, so what will be the group then? I should divide I by what to get a dimension of 1?
L.
L. If you divide only by
L to the
L,
power of 4. L to
I
the
to the
power of 4.
power 4. Very good. Because if you divide I by L to the power 4, the unit of I is L4. So to cancel it, I need to divide by L4. So this is group 2. This is pi 2.
بس دكتور
Yes.
مش نحن لقينا ال independent variables هن P و L فهلا بدنا نجمعهم مع groups
مظبوط.
نجمعهم مع I.
مظبوط، بس مش يعني انه اثنيناتهم لازم يكونوا موجودين مع الفاريبل. يعني يمكن بي مثل ما بين معنا هون coefficient of p is 0، يعني ما حتفوت يعني هن 3 variables بس مش يعني بفوتوا بكل الجروبس. يعني في جروبس حنفوت فيهم، في جروبس حيفوت فيهم L، في جروبس حيفوت فيهم P، وفي جروبس معقول يفوت P and L بس مش in this problem.
اوكي دكتور، سو هون الاي حناخد مع البي مع الاي، ما هيك؟
مزبوط، البي اجباري تفوت مع الاي، لانه الاي مجبوره تفوت بي. ليه؟ لانه فيها ام تي ماينس 2، بينما هوليك ما فيهم ام تي ماينس 2.
Yes.
Okay. So now the third group is formed between P, L, and E. هلا also here if you want هون we can do analysis by ABC analysis. Or sometimes if the group is very simple you can do what is called the inspection method. يعني هون كتير هينة. Why it's easy? Because look, P is MLT minus 2, MLT minus 2. What should I do to get ML minus 1T minus 2? شو لازم أعمل بهيدي اليونت تتصير ML minus 1T minus 2?
Divided by L minus 2.
Exactly.
Or divided by L squared.
L squared.
Yes, I should divide it by L squared. يعني هون it's very simple. الجروب دغري فيني طلعه بلا ما أعمل ABC. Okay. يعني when the group is very clear, no need to put A, B, and C. I can directly determine the group. يعني I say just here إنه to get ML minus 1T minus 2, I can simply do P over what? P over, I can say that P over L square will have the same dimension of E. And what will be my group? If I take, if you want, P to the other side and L square to the other side, so my group will be E times L square, E times L square over P. This is my group number 3. إذا ما انتبهنا لهيدا الشيء, it's not a problem. If you didn't pay attention that I can divide by L square to get the unit of E, and then I can say that the group formed by the 3 is E L square over P. What you can do, you do the conventional method. يعني you write the following: E to the power E times P to the power A times L to the power B is equal to M0, L0, and T0. Okay. So now you replace by the dimensions. For E you have M, L minus 1 times T minus 2. And for P you have mlt minus 2, so it's m to the power a times l to the power a times t to the power minus 2a equals to times l to the power b times l to the power b equals to m0 l0 t0. Okay, this is your equation. And now you do comparison. Okay, so what is the dimension of m from the first side? From the first side, m is to the power 1. Here you have 1, and here you have a, so 1 plus a. Now for L, what is the power of L? You have a minus 1 plus a plus b. So minus 1 plus a plus b. And what about t? For t, it's to the power minus 2 and minus 2a. So minus 2 minus 2a. Okay, equals to, from the other side, to m0 l0 t0. And now you have only to do comparison. So first equation is 1 plus a equals to 0. So a is equal to minus 1. Second equation is a plus b minus 1 plus a plus b equals to 0. And if you replace a by minus 1, you get that b is equal to 2. So replace a by minus 1. So b is equal to 2. And finally, the third relation for t, you have minus 2a equals to 0. So you get again, so a is minus 1 again. Okay, so here, as you can see, you don't have 3 independent equations. The third equation will be a repetition of the first. And why we have this? Because as we said, mt minus 2 is always repeating in the same manner. So m and t are not independent. They are repeating together, mt minus 2. Okay, so now you got a and b. And all you have to do now is to say that you replace. So what will be my group? My group is E times p to the power a, which is minus 1, p to the power minus 1, times l to the power b, so l to the power 2. Okay, so if you want, again, I say this is equal to pi 3, or I can write it in the form E times L square over P, and I get back the same result. Okay, any question on this?
No,
So
doctor.
that's it. Yes.
No, I said no, doctor. ما في سؤال.
Okay, welcome. So this is the method. Okay, once you know the method, it will be very simple. Yani, such problems will always be the same method. Nothing will change, just the variables will change. So always you have to do the same steps. You count the variables first, then you write their dimensions. Based on the dimensions, you determine the number of dimensions. Then you try to find if they are repeating in a similar manner or not. If you don't have repetition of dimensions in similar manner, then you can say J is equal to the number of dimensions. If you have some dimensions repeating in the same manner, J will be smaller than the number of dimensions. So for example, here J is smaller than 3 is equal to 2. So you select 2 independent variables. They cannot form a group. Okay, and after you do this, you take these 2 variables or the J variables with the remaining variables to form the groups. Okay, and always the number of groups is n minus J. So we continue next time. Okay, and if you need anything anytime, you can just tell me. We can do office hours when you want.
ثانك يو دكتور. بس دكتور قولي له لدكتور نديم ينزل الفيديوز، لانه هذيك المره انا ما قدرت احضر، كان عندي برزنتيشن لبروجكت.
بعد ما كان نزلهم دكتور نديم.
لا
لانه انا بعثت له اياهم. اوكي نو بروبلم.
اوكي ثانك يو.
I will.
Bye.
Thank you, doctor.
Welcome.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Doctor?
Yes.
instead of office hours, can I just send you my questions via WhatsApp?
Yes, of course.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Bye.